Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Dane, for those of you who don't know me. And if you're new here, welcome. I make a lot of videos about my experience going through the targeting and also just other things that God puts on my heart. Sometimes they're biblical teachings or testimonies, things like that. So it'll be a mixture of those things. Today, I want to talk about another tactic, as I've been doing some of these videos. Just like my goal for these videos, the tactic videos, is just like kind of putting a framework of what you can expect to experience going through the gang stalking. And that's one thing that I found just kind of interesting, is how there seems to be some sort of I guess formula, quote unquote, or guidelines to how this thing works. I just noticed people experiencing the same type of things. So I want to try to give my 2 cents on a subject about monitoring spirits. And you might not know that they're spirits. I mean, you're gonna be seeing them as people, but I just wanted to kind of put a definition on it, and then also just my experience or 2 cents. This was one of the first things that I noticed. I was like, people were taking a keen interest in me and just acting really weird, and everywhere I went, it just seemed like people were very interested in me. And I was having weird situations happen where something I did or said was being brought back up at a different setting. So it told me that there was some sort of like communication between these people that weren't around when I said something, and then it was brought back up in a different circle of people, if that makes sense. So this can kind of like, manifest in a different type of way for everyone, but I'm just going to give you my experience. I'm going to start with the definition of monitor. The verb monitor is to observe and to check the progress of quality of something over a period of time, kept under systematic review. So to monitor is to observe and check the progress of quality of something over a period of time, and it's kept under systematic review. So that's been my experience with people. And I noticed some things about these people who seem to be controlled by spirits. Like, first of all, they act really funny. Like, I've had people that I believe are controlled by a monitoring spirit. Like, I've had interaction with them, right? Because over time, I started I'm like, what's going on here? I wanted to kind of probe it, and I would just try different things out, because I wanted to understand what was going on. And I would try to have conversations with these people, and they just wouldn't act normal. I don't really know how to put my finger on it, but it's like their body movements, the way that they carry themselves. Sometimes they would be completely silent. Like, if you asked them something or said hello, like, they would just kind of like turn away from you and like just be really weird. Like, I've had people standing near me, like acting like they're on the cell phone, as I'm walking by, and like I know that they're like paying a lot of attention to me, but they're supposedly on the phone. And so one time I literally I stood behind this guy that was doing that to me, and it was funny because he's like on the phone, right? And he's like keeps like looking over his shoulder at me, and I'm standing right by him. I want to see if he's actually on the phone. So like I literally stand there for a couple minutes, at least a minute, and this guy doesn't talk at all. And I was just like, I'm like, hey, pretty bad cell reception out here in the middle of the city, huh? And I just started laughing, and the guy just didn't even like respond really. But that's just one example. I've also noticed, like I said, just their movements seem unnatural, or the way that they are acting, it just, it just seems like there's something not right with them. Another thing you'll notice is like cars pulling up and watching, people pulling up and watching. They might get out of their cars and like act weird and just, kind of be acting like they're doing stuff on their car for like an extended period of time. It could be a lot of different things, but it'll be a little bit unnerving, dealing with this, because it just seems like everywhere you go, like people are following and watching and just acting strange. So that's something you'll have to get used to or contend with. One of the weirder situations that I remember is like I was in this intersection, like on the corner, and a car was coming this way and flipped all the way around. So I'm on this corner, and a car is passing me, like coming from my right to my left, and then he flips a U-turn in the middle of the intersection, and then faces his headlights on me and just parks his car in the middle of the intersection. Completely did a U-turn and parked, and I was just like, man, what is going on here, right? Just to make it, abundantly clear that, it is what it is. And so like I'm like, I got pissed off. I'm just like, man, I'm so sick of dealing with this, right? And I wouldn't recommend this, but I was definitely, at this point, I was living wild, and I grabbed a rock off the ground, and I was really close to just throwing it through the windshield, and like I pump faked him a couple times, and I'm like about to throw this thing, and then he drove off. Or I couldn't even see who was in it too. That's another thing. Like sometimes they'll use that, like tinted cars and all this stuff. But it's like, that could be an isolated incident, and that's the thing about this whole gang stalking stuff. It's like, to someone who's never been through it, it just sounds like you're tripping, or it's like, but these things are happening everywhere you go. Like it's like, what normal is, and then you start experiencing this stuff, and it's just like, what is going on? So my viewpoint is these spirits are monitoring you, and like it says, it's like it's checking the progress and observing and reporting back, and I believe like the whole targeting, experience is ran by demonic spirits, and so you'll have another way that this will play out is, maybe they even do use technology and things like that. I'm not going to speak too much on that because I don't know for sure. But you'll have people like hanging out, maybe outside where you live or where you work. You might see the same people. At different locations. But in my experience, it's like I think these spirits can jump around and into people that have open doors. And one thing that I kind of think helps, is to not give your attention too much. So like you might notice it, but don't outwardly show it. You can be aware of your surroundings and things, and it's like, just don't give your fear to it. Don't give too much attention to it. And if you do give attention to it, try to like go out of your way to be kind or positive with these people, and just see the reactions you get. It's kind of fun, it's a way to like kind of turn the tables back on them. It's just like, don't feed into what they're doing. Don't react in a negative way. Don't curse them. It's hard. Your flesh is going to be pulling at you because it gets tiring. But I felt like some relief when you go out of your way to do like kind things for them, compliment them on something they're wearing, or just say something nice to them. Like, and it's at that point I feel like it puts the pressure back on them, because here they are trying to bring destruction to you, and you're blessing them or you're complimenting them, and it just like, who knows I don't know what type of effect that has on them personally. I don't know if these people are aware of what they're doing or they're just being overtaken by spirits. I kind of lean towards that. I think a lot of, the targeting and the stalking that's experienced is like on a level where these people don't even really know they're being used, which is kind of a common thing for like demonic possession. So again, there's a lot to this. I'm just on here speaking some things that have been my experience, right? And to really like combat this and to have peace in your life, I believe 100% you need to seek the Lord. You need to give your life to Jesus and walk in his peace and his ways. And other than that, you're going to be kind of living in a hellish reality where you're kind of the center of this joke you're not understanding, right? And it's a very confusing experience, to say the least. Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, I did a video about be careful what you're saying and who you're saying it to, because in my experience, these spirits will take what's said and try to use them, like especially if you reveal things that are bothering you or things that you don't like. You'll notice, and I've tested this out by telling people stuff, and then I've seen it play out in the weeks followed. It's like they'll run with the information they get. They'll tailor these like attacks and things to something that they think is going to have the most effect. So they're definitely observing you and watching you, and that can be really unnerving. But if you live in a way that's, the Bible talks about being above reproach, and when you live in that way, it frees you from a lot of the fear of like, oh, people are going to find out that I did this or did that. It's like, yeah, when you're doing things in the dark, you don't want them exposed in the light. So it's like when you start purifying your life and doing things the right way, it's like they don't have that leverage on you where you're worried about people finding out things about you. Like, so when this was a constant struggle for me because I was always doing bad things at this time. I was hooked on drugs. I was running the streets and, doing crime, selling drugs, allegedly. No, I was, but I'm just saying, like, when you live in a way that's like you're open and honest with people, you don't have that fear of like things being exposed. So that's another part of this too, is to like clean up your life and if they're gonna watch, let them see truth. Let them waste their time trying to find dirt on you. If there is nothing to find, you don't have that kind of fear. So that's just a little side comment on that. I remember another experience that I had was I was walking down this block, and then so I'm on one corner, and then, so there's four corners. There was a lady and two gentlemen on each corner, right? And I had went a couple blocks away from this point, and I looked back over in the same like direction that they were. And so what was weird is it was the same layout a couple blocks away, like the same people on the same corners, but it's like, what's the chances of all them coming the same distance and being the same relational distance from me when I looked back their direction? You know what I mean? Like, so it was that way a couple blocks away, and then I moved, and it's like all of us were on the same positionally in relation to each other. It's like they moved with me. It was strange. So it's like you're gonna see stuff that's just weird, kind of just creepy pasta type deal. But yeah, you're gonna have to contend with people watching you, people showing up to the places you show up at and just acting weird, trying to creep you out, using things you say against you. You might experience like people mimicking you, or dressing like you, or saying the things that you said. And it's just a trip, because it's like, how are they doing this, you know? And a lot of people think it's technology, stuff like that. I look at it as spiritual, because in the grand scheme of things, it's the only explanation I found for the broad questions that come up, you know, because, yeah, I'll just keep it there because I don't want to get too spun out in this video. But yeah, you know, another thing, and this is just my, this is my 2 cents. You know, this whole video is pretty much my 2 cents, but I have the feeling that they're somehow linked spiritually, where they can kind of communicate within each other. Like, it's almost like a hive mind. And I believe this because being around them, I've noticed them moving in a way that's so coordinated, you know, without them speaking to each other. And it was like they're moving in a way that, like, I'm watching them trying to disrupt what they're doing, and it's like they're all just stay on the same page. It's like a supernatural coordination between each other. So that's why I believe that. Anyways, guys, hope you like this video. I'm gonna make some more coming up. I have some more stories I want to tell, like some kind of just experiences I had more in like a storyline, because I think those are interesting as well for people who are going through this. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you like this video, and yeah, you want to see some more. All right, see you guys later.